Yes, here we go then. So welcome everybody to Sunday. I don't know what time of day it is for you, but welcome anyway. We have got the most amazing speakers that we could wish for. And to have all these speakers and to not be charging you $200 and $300 or pounds is like absolutely excellent. So here we go. The first thing is, if you want to chat away, certainly the chat box is there. We have Natasha on hand. She's going to answer any questions that you may have. So if you've got them, pop them in the chat box. But I'm told before we go, you've got to type in the box, I am ready. So if you are ready, you've got to type it in the chat box. And then if everyone is ready, we are going to be good to go. It seems like a lot of people are ready, which is fantastic. Absolutely excellent. Whoa, we are all ready. Now, all I will say is some people are speaking for the first time. So give them plenty of love. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are because you'll all be focusing and thinking, right, let's watch this person. We need to watch everybody. But all I'm saying is there are some nervous people out there waiting to share with you, and just give them some love because they're giving it you all from the heart today. So that's absolutely amazing. So here we go then with our first speaker of the day. It's always good to kick off. We are gonna do it now because enough people have said, I am ready. So here we go. Let me just tell you about this first person. This first person is called Carla. So Carla, I'm going to read you a bit about them because I don't want to miss it and I don't want to get it wrong. So Carla has climbed the ladder in corporate America in the last 5 years, now a financial crime specialist. Carla has always had a passion to help people. She is now walking in her true purpose of life as a motivational speaker, using her voice to uplift and inspire other people to truly see and become a better version of themselves. So the first person, if you will release her, Josh. So we have Carla as our first speaker. Carla, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Excellent. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for giving us your time. So I'm just going to start off by saying, good afternoon, good evening, kings and queens. Let me start off by asking 2 questions. Have you ever felt in your heart as a child that you were better than your circumstances? Have you ever heard that in a voice as a child that whispered, you can? I have. I'm here to encourage you today, kings and queens, and to let you know that your past hurt and trauma does not, I repeat, does not define who you are. I want you to get ready to unleash that inner child who felt scared, ashamed, unwanted, and doubtful. When people say you can't, you remember, you listen to that inner voice, and you hold your head up high because you're gonna win. Yes, you will. My name is Carla Denise Allen, AKA CDA, born in Norfolk, Virginia, raised in Baltimore, Maryland, to about 5th grade. Then my parents relocated us to Pennsylvania. Growing up in Baltimore, Maryland in the early 90s was rough and tough. Both of my parents were on drugs heavy. I seen a lot of negativity and experienced a lot of trauma. As a child, I felt like all I was ever gonna be and see was my environment, was negativity. As a child, using my imagination to see myself become a better version of myself was stripped away. In spite of how I felt, in spite of that stinking thinking that I developed as a child, I always heard this voice. You can. Let me ask you a question. Just type yes or no in the chat box. Who here remembers the saying, it's not over until the fat lady sings? Let me tell you who said it best. Les Brown. It's not over until I win. Come on, say it with me. It's not over until I win. Come on, say it one more time. Type it in the chat box with confidence. It's not over until I win. Yes, it's not over until you win. It's not over until you get rid of that stinking thinking that you have developed. It's not over until you become the better version of yourself. It's not over until you win. As you continue to grow and develop yourself, you have to remember it's not over until you win. Here's what I learned, and here's what I'm still learning. In life, you will have joy. In life, you will have pain. Who here remembers, yes or no, in the chat box, this song? Joy and pain, sunshine and rain, yeah. Joy, pump it up, and pain, sunshine and rain. Yes, a classic song of Frankie Beverly and me. In life, you will have joy, and in life, you will have pain. I experienced a lot of pain in my childhood that carried me through my adulthood. I experienced a lot of stinking thinking as a child that carried me through my adulthood. But as you continue to grow and become the better version of yourself, you have to have a renewing of your mind to get rid of that stinking thinking. In Romans 12:2, it states, do not be conformed by the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Do not be conformed by those patterns that you may have developed as a child that carried you into your adulthood. Do not be conformed by those patterns, but have a renewing of your mind to get ready to unleash that inner child who felt scared, ashamed, unwanted, and doubtful. And as you continue to grow and evolve and become the better version of yourself, there will be naysayers. Oh, the naysayers will come. Write this quote down. This is one of my favorite quotes from Les Brown. Someone's opinion of you does not have to be your reality. As you continue to grow and strive to be the better version of yourself, you will have naysayers that will doubt you. But you know what? That does not have to be your reality. Jim Rohn says it best. Write this quote down as well. It's not the blowing of the winds that determine your destination. It's the set of the sails. In other words, it's not what you've been through in life that will determine your destination. It's who you will become. Who will you become after all the things that you've been through? How will you make your trials and tribulations? How will you make them make you? Will you make that make you feel bitter or better? Choose better, because you are better. You have greatness in you. You are a masterpiece because you came from the master himself. So choose better. I'm going to leave you with this, kings and queens. If you want to be somebody and you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. You realize you were better than your circumstances. You realize that the past is not your future. You realize that you are kings and queens. And once you are aware, let me ask this question before I finish my statement. Who here remembers the game Truth and Type yes or no? Oh, yeah, you do? Okay, now I can finish my statement. Once you are aware of who you are becoming, I double dare you to dream again. Not dare, double dare you to achieve again. I double dare you to dream again. I double dare you to become the better version of you. Why? Because if I can, you can, kings and queens. My name is Carla Denise Allen, AKA CDA. Charles DeWitt and Cheryl Denise Allen's baby girl. Signing off. Peace, love, and happiness, kings and queens.
Wow, Carla Denise Allen. It's like starting a rock concert. It's like we're at a rave party. Well done. That was like fantastic. If you would like to actually contact Carla or have some more information, pop in the chat box right now. Carla Denise Allen, the singer. What a way to start. Absolutely incredible. I will tell you, now she's done it, that's her first big outing. So well done. So give her some love. She did absolutely incredible. Right, okay, so now we're moving on to our next person. Now this person is the person I was talking about earlier, who is been absolutely incredible in transforming millions of people's lives. So it's going to be Tarnya Coley is up next. Now, I'm going to absolutely read the information to you so you understand who's speaking to us. So Tarnya is a motivational speaker. She is regarded as a respectful and influential speaker. She has over 17 years experience speaking on many platforms. She's distinguished for her down-to-earth approach to empowering women and for helping individuals live a life of purpose. Tarnya is also a personal development coach and author. And so we are in for an absolute treat. Josh, if you will release her, please, so that we can actually hear her speech, because this is going to be incredible. And she disappeared from my screen, but these technical things happen.
I'm here.
You are, right, good. I am glad you are here, because what you say, I can't. So I'm delighted. So Tarnya, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ian. As he said, Josh, please release me. Let me go. I'm ready. Thank you, Ian, for this amazing opportunity to speak to so many people of greatness. We have greatness in the house, and I am super excited. So, as Ian says, I am Tarnya. I'm a personal development coach, speaker, and author. And I am from Manchester, England, and it's super exciting to be here with you all. And Carla stole my song. If you want to be somebody, come on now. If you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention, because 2021 is the year where we are having breakthrough to our success. Come on now, we're in alignment. I'm loving this. Okay, I've just got one question before I start. How many of you on this call have something that you want to achieve in 2021? If that is you, just put yes in the chat. If you have something that you want to achieve this year, I just want you to put yes. Renee said yes. Amy said me, exclamation mark. Kerri said yes. Sandra said yes. David said yes. Okay, Ian, I'm in the right place. I am in the right place. So I can start. Absolutely fantastic. I am part of Thinking into Results, which is a coaching program with Jon Talarico. And his coaching, I've been on it for about 6 months now, and it has impacted my business and me in a positive way. And I want to just leave some little nuggets with you, okay? And who's heard this saying, believe and succeed? I want you to put that in the chat. Believe and succeed. Jon, I have to big him up today, because he has believed in me and my business and leading the way for me to follow. And Jon is a leader who knows the way, he goes the way, and he shows the way. And as a result of that, thank you everybody putting believe and succeed. And if you're making notes, as Ian said before, if you've got your pencil and your pad, write that one down, believe and succeed. I now have a crystal clear vision as to where I want my business to be and where I want to be. Because of this powerful affirmation, believe and succeed. So if you don't have an affirmation for 2021, and even if you do, add this one to your list, believe and succeed. I've been challenged to assess where I am right now. What is it that I want? Where do I want to be? What do I need? And I mean, challenging all of you, 29 of you on the call today. Where do you want to be? Assess where you are right now. In order to make changes and to excel, we have to assess where we are. As a lecturer, I used to always say to my students, look at your pies, not the pies that we eat, but it's your physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and spiritual. Where are you in the terms of those aspects? Where are you right now? Let's evaluate and have a real check on where you are in order to make positive changes. Physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. Because this year, today, tonight, wherever we are in the world, morning, evening, afternoon, we are breaking some barriers. We are removing some barriers in our lives. And then we have to create an action plan. I don't know about you, but I love an action plan. I need to know what I'm doing every day in order to succeed and achieve where I'm going. I have to have an action plan. So I want you to write that in the chat. Create an action plan. If you don't have an action plan to where you're going, because without vision, there's a lack of focus and direction. Without vision, the people perish. We will lose our way if we don't have vision to where we are going. Thank you, Amy. Create an action plan. Fantastic. And Mensa said, oh, that's deep. Come on now, you need to tuck your toes in. We're going in today. We are going in. And then be determined. Put that in the chat. Determination. You have to be determined that no matter what, pandemic, come on now, that's a massive thing worldwide. Pandemic, challenges of life. When the pandemic goes, because it hasn't come to stay, it will come to pass. And then when Corona's gone, there's going to be something else, because that's life. There's always going to be challenges. There's going to be valley experiences and there's going to be mountaintop experiences as we go through this year. But I'm challenging you today, be determined. Jim Watkins said, the river doesn't break through a rock because of its power. It breaks through the rock because of its determination. Because of its determination. How determined are you this year to see some things come to pass in your life, in your business, in your family? How determined are you? You have to be determined. Lisa said, yes, life will always bring challenges. Stay on course. We have to be determined. And then next, I want you to put this in the chat. Enlist. We're in an army. Enlist the help of others. We cannot do it on our own. Well, I've tried and I only get so far. I don't know about you. I've tried. You only get so far. But you have to enlist the help of others. We are in an army. Bev said enlist. Yes. Shante said go army. We are in an army. Who are you enlisting in your army in 2021? Who have you got? Who is in your circle? Evaluate who is in your circle. I said this before and I say it again. You either have to let go or you're going to be dragged. You have to enlist powerful people. I've got the Thinking into Results family to support me on my journey. I have Jon Talarico, the connector, on my army list. And I am super excited. Who have you got in your circle? And SA said enlist only quality people, okay? Only quality people. And the finish line, just remember this, it's not the end. The finish line, there's no end to this game. There is no end. You've got to keep on going. So each day, see it as an opportunity to evaluate where you are right now, have your action plan, and keep on moving forward. And I encourage you to change your language and the way that you speak, because there is life and death in the power of the tongue. So in 2021, we're removing some barriers. They're in our way. We're in an army. We ain't got time for debris. We've got to just move it out of the way. And guess what? I don't know about you, but I had to get out of my own way. I don't know about you. I had to get out of my own way. I can't do this. I'm not sure about that. Limiting myself, having small vision. But thinking into results, it's created a massive vision to where I want to be. My coaching business is now a global business. I have 3 publications available on Amazon. Why? Because my vision is crystal clear. I believe I'm succeeding and mastering my mindset daily. It is a continuative process. So what are you planting in your mind? You got to plant positive things and water it daily. How am I going to water it? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who do you have around you? Plant those seeds of succeed and believe. Water your mind. Check in with yourself daily. Come on now. You got to check in with yourself daily. And that is so important. And if weeds of sabotage and self-doubt kick in, I'm going to give you a free tip here. Dig it up and replace it with positivity. Believe and succeed. Plant those seeds of believe and succeed. Lisa said, replace the weed. Come on now. Replace the weeds. Amy said, yes. What are we taking in? So important. As Les Brown said, stop listening to that constant negative news. Switch it off and change the record and listen to something positive. And this is why we're on the call today, because we are removing barriers to our success. So I'm going to close with this. Mike Williams said, with the right mindset and the right skill set, all sorts of things can happen when you bring your best stuff to the fore. Plan it, see it, and anticipate it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Now, two people so far, how incredible. If you would like to learn more about Tarnya's coaching program, pop it in the chat right now. Pop it in the chat, and she'll be the only person that gets back in touch with you, because she's absolutely incredible. I keep telling you, we both are coaches and mentors. And when she's live, when she's doing training, I am in the room, because you know what? She is a powerful speaker and we can always learn. I'm just sitting here thinking, yes, forgot that one. Brilliant. Well done, Tarnya. Absolutely amazing as normal. We really, really appreciate you. So Josh, if you could now release Jon Talarico. He's down as a host in case you haven't picked up on that. So he's listed as host. So our next speaker is my mentor. It's Tarnya's mentor. I think he mentors over 100 people. He is an incredible guy. Amazing guy. Let me just read this because we don't want to get this wrong. So Jon is forever grateful to be considered among the world's foremost experts on building relationships that yield amazing results for his clients. He is privileged to work directly with many people, including some of today's most powerful, influential business builders and celebrities. He has helped produce 2 Hollywood films, became the owner of a $25 million sports franchise, and what he really is proud about, he has brought the gift of hearing to over 1,600 people who couldn't hear anything. Well, Jon, I want you to hear this today. I am talking to him and he pulls up on his screen someone from a TV program that we like to watch. And I don't watch much television. He is in with the big boys. He is the connector. He really is. And we need to listen to what this guy says. He's been my mentor now for the past 6 months. And every day is a bonus. He just has this thing. You pick him up and as you're speaking to him in one ear and someone else is placing an order always in the other. So if I don't have an order right then, I'll just call him up, say, hi, John. It's okay, thanks, got the order, put it down. You know, he is incredible. He is the biggest connector I have ever met. He's a true guy. He's an honest guy. He just tells you as it is. But he's got one big, massive thing that he shares with us all. That's not his Rolodex, which he does, but it's his heart. John, are you free and with us?
I am ready, Ian. Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much, Ian. Really super excited to be here. I'm touched. It's because of clients like you and Tarnya and everyone else. I see a lot of, and they're not my clients, they're our family, Ian, and they are achieving amazing results. And I really appreciate it. What an amazing event you're hosting today about removing barriers, because that's what it's all about, removing those barriers to get and live the life of your dreams. So for those of you who don't know me, I teach people how to connect to the life of their dreams. And I don't like to say that I'm a life coach. I'm a results coach because my clients get the results. They take action. They're willing to be coachable. And then they do the work. They show up and they achieve amazing results in their life because they understand that the key to removing those barriers lies in their mind. And when you gain that understanding about how your mind works, then you can start to think about the illogical, right? You can do the unreasonable and become what I like to say, unstoppable. And so I want to share with you guys over the next few minutes. Amazing job, Tarnya. You were on fire. Wow. So I want to share with you guys how you can now connect to the right kind of mindset to break through and bust through any barriers, a terror barrier, I call it, from stopping you to have the life of your dreams, to quiet the committee, I like to say, right? And so the challenge we have when we tell people, you guys need to change your mind, you need to change your thinking, is that we all think in pictures. And so when you ask somebody to describe or write or draw a picture of the mind, they draw a brain usually, right? And the brain is not any more the mind is than your finger. Mind is in every cell of the body, it's movement. And so where we have no image, there is confusion. And so thank goodness back in 1932, I believe, we had Dr. Thurman Fleet, a chiropractor, who said, I'm going to solve this because we have a problem in the healing arts. We're treating symptoms and not the cause. So he came up with what all my clients have come to learn and love is the stick person. And so if you're watching right now, I want you to just imagine a large circle. Just picture that as your head, right? And a line going right through the middle of that. There's a top, your conscious mind, and on the bottom is your subconscious mind. And just draw a smaller circle underneath that, a little line to connect it. That just kind of represents your body, right? Your body is an instrument of the mind. It moves into action based on what you tell it to do. Now, what we don't understand is that the majority of our behavior is habitual. And we have these things called paradigms, these mental programs. No different than when you buy a computer and you find stuff that's already been installed on there that you don't even know about. When you're a young child, your subconscious mind is wide open. And so you don't have the ability to filter out anything. And so we are programmed at a very young age how to think, how to act, how to operate. And as we go through life, we start making decisions based on that programming. And as we get older, what happens? We think we're in charge because we have free will, right? In our conscious mind. And yet we continually get the same results over and over and over again. Now, what I came to learn after many decades of wanting other results, trying other things and hoping, right? Hoping things would change, was that we have to deal with the subconscious programming. It is extremely powerful. We have to realize that we have these paradigms and that we can replace them. How do we replace a paradigm? Through constant spaced repetition of doing new things in a different way every day. And that's where we create new habits. That's why you heard Tarnya talk earlier about what are you planting? I like to say, what are you planting in the garden of your mind, right? The weeds or the wisdom? The wisdom to know that you have everything you already need in one form or another to have a life of your dreams. The way to have this call with Ian and Tarnya, a lot of you in the UK and other people from all over the world, has always been here. Flying an airplane, always been here. And so it's just an awareness issue to know that everything's already here. That's why you can hear Ian speak. And Tarnya, where there's a lot of us who are coaches here, but we understand the creative mindset. There's no need to compete. Supply is unlimited. It's infinite. And so that's why we all work together. We support each other. We raise each other up. We push each other to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. We realize, right, that we have this energy flowing to and through us, God, spirit, universe, whatever you guys want to call it, right? That's not for me to decide. But that things in all times, everything's energy and they're always vibrating. And that's why when you have these limiting beliefs, these barriers, right? Doubt, fear, worry, I call them the demons of doubt, right? This thing that talks to you, negativity. That vibration is a very low vibration, which is not in harmony with what you want in your life. So most people, they visualize, right? They meditate, they pray, they have goal cards, vision boards, and yet we're in a very low vibration because while we're thinking of our goal, we have all these other things going on in the back of our mind, right? Worry, doubt, and fear. How, even though I want it, I have no clue how I'm going to achieve it. And that's where we need to understand the paradigms, right? The mental programming. There is, yes, a global pandemic and a virus, but there's also a virus in our thinking. And until we understand that, we're going to keep getting the same results over and over and over again. So how do we change the paradigm? As I mentioned earlier, it comes through understanding. Understanding that your paradigms, your mental habits are running the show. They are the ones in charge. And what you want to do is you want to master the art of being calm. If you haven't read As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, you want to get that book. And you want to do something that will transform and change your life starting today. Find the chapter on serenity. Write that out. Yes, write it out by hand. It'll take you 20 to 30 minutes. And write it out by hand. It talks about calmness of mind as one of the true jewels of wisdom. And you get it through long and determined efforts in self-control. All my clients, myself included, we understand that we respond to life, that we live our lives from the inside out, and that we do not allow our environment, anybody, any person, any place, anything to dictate how we're going to feel. So you guys need to disconnect from the results of how you're going to achieve something. Let that go. That's not your business. You guys worry about the cause, right? The cause is your thinking and then taking action, and don't worry about the effect. With constant spaced repetition of new habits, right? Of new programming, of new ideas, you can start to reprogram your subconscious mind, right? What did Edison say? Never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious. How else can we change the paradigm? Well, my clients will tell you, we all have our unlimited life script. We see ourselves a year from now, how we want our life to be, and we live that life now. We live our future self now. We think of ourselves as a person we wish to become. We join masterminds. We join programs like mine, like Ian's, like Tarnya's, and understand that we can always be working on study and knowledge. We surround ourselves with like-minded people who understand that we don't compete, we create. That in each and every moment, we're either living in fear or faith. We're in creation or disintegration. And we have accountability. All of my clients are on my phone. They are my accountability agents, and we hold each other accountable because that is your insurance policy to success. You're willing to take 100% full responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Understanding that you accept it, it is what it is. You find the lesson in it. And then you forgive all the rest and you keep moving. We don't get stuck in the story. We don't get stuck in our familiar past or in a predictable future. And so that's how it's going to be when you start to understand that you can connect to the right mindset, right? You start to change your thinking. Your thoughts create your feelings, which create your emotions and actions. You want to take daily, this is the important word, measurable action. That's the body moving, right? But you have to take measurable action. You can't manage your time. You can manage your activities. And so you need to monitor what you're doing. So many of us think that we're very, very busy, right? But yet we're not very productive. And if you take a cold, hard, honest look at what you did yesterday, just go back yesterday and review. Take a sheet of paper and write out the 24 hours that were in the day yesterday. Deduct the 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep and start to write out what you did for each of those hours and start to look at how many of those activities moved you a step closer to your goal and dream, or how many of those were stopped by these barriers that we're talking about today, because we have the programming to think that we can't have, be, or do whatever we want in life. Also, what else do we do to change the paradigm? We have to understand our self-image. I encourage everybody to get the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It is the authority on self-image, understanding that we have two self-images. One that we project to the outside world. And I used to have this one for years, right? That everything was okay, that nothing bothered Jon, that life was great. And, my life was perfect. And yet there was another self-image, the one that I live with when no one else was looking, the one that wouldn't allow me to look at myself in the mirror, the one that was depressed, disappointed, and just full of disdain for myself. I didn't like myself very much. And your results can never outperform that self-image. But what you can come to understand by reading that book is that we have a built-in automatic mechanism inside of us that is seeking a goal. We are goal-seeking individuals, right? We're always moving towards something. And our self-image can move us either to success or it can move us to failure. And so we have to remember, what goal-striving idea are we working toward, right? And that's where it's so important that we understand that self-image is really the key. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between something that's imaginary or something that's real. That's why, if you're familiar with that study, they had a group of people mentally rehearse how to play a piano for over a month in their mind. And they had another test group that actually practiced that on a daily basis. By the end of the 30 days, that group that never touched the piano was able to play equally as well as that group that had been playing for 30 days. That's how powerful the subconscious mind is. That's why you hear stories about people who maybe their children are trapped under a car, and all of a sudden the next thing you hear is that they're lifting a car off of them. We have enormous potential tapped up deep inside of us, right? And we like to think that we act and feel not how things are, but we actually act and think how we feel about ourselves. So we have to change our self-image. We have to realize that we have the ability to reprogram our mind and recreate our self-image. Now, how do we create a better self-image? Well, first thing I do is I encourage everyone to stand in front of that same mirror, the one that I couldn't look at, and start to read the self-confidence formula, if you can find that in Think and Grow Rich. Then what I want you to do is start to create a clear image of the person you wish to become. What is it that you want? And see yourself as that person. Second, you want to create this life script. We go into that in great detail, but you want to create a life script. How does your life look a year from now? And don't live as if you need to go to somewhere. Live as if you're already there and live from that place. And the third thing, prayer, meditation. Watch and rehearse your mental movie each and every day before you go to sleep at night and the first thing in the morning when you get up. Pray and meditate and see yourself for 10 minutes. Focus clearly on that person. Feel it. Get emotionally involved with that person. Take characteristics of leaders, of people that you want to become and emulate. I have other clients that go so far as to cut out those pictures of those people. They put them on a vision board and look at them every day. Maybe one person has a characteristic of loyalty, of determination, of persistence, of commitment, of dedication, of kindness, of love, of caring, compassion. Start to change how you feel about yourself. Right? Now, another thing I want to share with you, I've got a few more minutes here. I want to share with you guys really how you can understand 4 steps that will move you through this terror barrier, right? By using your mind. And the first thing you want to do is understand that most people go through life in what I call bondage, right? They don't even entertain the idea that their life could be any different. They go through life tiptoeing to the end, hoping that they don't wake up anybody, including themselves, right? That's the 40-year plan, right? Go get a job, save, and then maybe one day you can take that vacation or buy that dream house or that dream car. Those people live a life of bondage. But then there's another way. The second step is what I call reason. We start to entertain ideas. We start to hear from people like Ian, from Tarnya, from myself, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, all Jim Rohn, all these people, Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale. We start to entertain ideas and start to think, wow, maybe I do want something more for my life. Maybe there is something better. Maybe I could see myself having that. But guess what happens? We don't really act on it because we don't really believe it. And so guess what? That reason and that idea just fades away. Now, the third step is we come to what I call conflict. We start to imagine an idea, a better life that we want, things that we want to do, be, and have. We start to get excited. We start to get emotionally involved. We can see ourselves actually living in that dream house, speaking on stage in front of thousands of people, having that dream relationship, right? And guess what happens? It creates anxiety in us because on a subconscious level, we still don't believe it. And so now we have conflict going on inside. The old programming, remember, we are programmed to live our life from our 5 senses, what we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. But what we don't get taught is that we have these 6 higher mental faculties, these God-given gifts. And I want you guys to write these down. I'll give you all 6 right now. It's our imagination, the ability to dream, the ability to see ourselves a year from now and live it today. We have our intuition, God speaking to us, spirit, universe, whatever you say. We have the ability to tap into ourselves and know that each and every question that we have, we already know the answer to. We have our will, the ability to focus on one thing to the exclusion of all others. We have memory. There's no such thing as a bad memory. There's only a weak memory. Memory can be developed and strengthened over time. Constant repetition, constantly reminding yourself of the person you wish to become. We have reason, the ability to think, and we have perception, right? As Wayne Dyer said, what is we change our perception of the thing that we look at changes, right? So we can actually focus and live our life from those higher mental faculties. And so now we're starting to go into conflict. We have our old programming based on our 5 senses. We have our new hopes, possibilities, and ideas of a life and a dream that we have, and they're in conflict. And what happens? We don't know how to handle this conflict. Our body starts to freak out, right? We hit that terror barrier, and what happens? Anxiety. Calls to Ian, calls to Tarnya, calls to Jon. Coach, help, I'm in trouble. I don't know what to do. And yet we have to realize that we have the ability to blast through that terror barrier. How? By step number 4, freedom. How do you develop freedom? Through understanding, through awareness, through knowledge, right? Knowledge that there's a different way to live, that in each and every moment you can live your life in faith or you can live it in fear. Both of those require you to believe in something you cannot see, that you have to be willing to die to your old self because you're already dying for what you don't want. Be persistent and be willing to die for what you do want. And how else can you get freedom? You can start to realize that you have everything you already need, right? That you can live a life of ease when you have knowledge and understanding of how the mind works, that you can now start to accelerate. You can collapse time and move closer to your goal and dream, build momentum, and start moving with acceleration and speed, right? One of my favorite quotes, the universe loves speed. Success loves speed. And then you can be in a state of creation, knowing that in each and every moment you're either creating or disintegrating. So all your goals, all your dreams, all the love and laughter and light of life lie just beyond those things you cannot see. That's where the greatest gifts in life lie, in the things that you cannot see. It's in that unwavering faith, knowing that you have everything you already need, knowing that when you surround yourself with the right like-minded people, when you remind yourself on a daily basis of the person you wish to become, when you start to take new daily action, measurable action, different than you've ever done before to become someone you've never been before, then that life of your dreams is right within your grasp, that you can live a life of your dreams and that you can connect to anything, anyone, and anywhere at any time. And so I hope this has been helpful to you guys. Ian, I want to thank you for putting on another amazing event. You continue just to give, and give. Ian, if you guys don't know, he is a perfect example of how this law works, right? The more you give, the more you get in return. And so he selflessly gives of his time to not only a lot of people on here, but all kinds of people in his community. And you see the rewards. He's succeeding, not because of me, but because of himself, because he's taking action. I've just been a very good student, and I'm able to facilitate sometimes for him and other people that their life can take off like a rocket ship. Ian will tell you, it just had amazing success, Tarnya, all my clients. And so I encourage all of you guys to take action, right? Do something you've never done before. Connect to that life of your goal and dream. Know that it's possible and that it's necessary. Start to think theological, right? Start to do and think the unrealistic and become unstoppable. Thank you, Ian.
All right. Well, thank you, Jon. We really appreciate you. And, you know, the guy just has it nailed down. That's all I can say, because I have seen so many people over the last 4 or 5 months whose lives have just been transformed by listening to him and taking his advice and putting the application behind it. An absolutely incredible guy. I do want to meet some of these stars that he keeps mixing with, you know, but I'm going to have to bribe him, I think, because he doesn't seem to, he comes up with everything apart from that. So it looks like we'll have to put some paper in his hand, see if that will persuade him. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Jon. We really appreciate you. It's Sunday. You didn't have to do that for us, and we are so grateful that you did. So on to our next speaker. Well, if you're enjoying it so far, just type in the box, we want more. We want more, because we've got to encourage these speakers. I believe that the speakers we're putting together for you tonight or to this morning or afternoon, whenever you are, they are some of the best speakers I have ever come across. And I'm really excited to share them all with you. Someone did say to me yesterday, why are you exposing all these speakers to people who could be your clients? I said, because you don't understand. We're all in this together, and there are plenty to go around. And you know what? Some people might not like me, and I might prefer to go to someone like Tarnya, for example, or Melissa, anyone. It doesn't matter. You've got to connect. So I feel so blessed that you're all here this evening. And we're going to move on because you're all asking for some more. So here we go. The next person is just got up to actually speak to us. And in his world, it's Monday morning. So let me introduce you to Jake Fowler, who is from Australia. So let me just read his little bit about him because this is important. So Jake Fowler, he owns and operates multiple successful businesses across the world, as well as inspiring and motivating people from all walks of life. But most importantly, refresh minds and equip them from pathways to access the mental facilities they need to find their passion and bring them closer to their goals and dreams. He is professionally trained as a public speaker. Let me just tell you a bit more about him because Jake lives in Australia, but he doesn't speak Australian. And the reason being, he speaks similar, his accent. I have a Warwickshire accent, by the way. He speaks very similar to me because until recently, he lived about 10 miles from my home. We both come into the same county. He didn't know me. I didn't know him. He went off to Australia. I met him in Australia. How does that work? Think about it, whether it be God or the universe keeps putting the building blocks in place. This guy has also absolutely interviewed so many people on his podcast. I think he's up to about 90 on his podcast. He is an incredible guy. And let's just see. Josh, have you released and can you release Jake Fowler, please?
I believe I am released and happy to join you here today. Live from Melbourne, Australia, as Ian said. It's coming up to 10 to 6 in the morning, and that's 10 to 16 hours ahead in the future for most of you. So I'm pleased to say welcome to the future and to let you know the future is bright, folks. I'd like to start by thanking Ian, my fellow Brummie, for putting this together today, and how wonderful it is to share the virtual stage again with so many of the Power Voice and Thinking into Results family, a group of people who are doers, who are driven, and who are achievers, and people who really get things done. And in fact, many of the words I'm about to share with you all today are a testament. These people that I'm sharing alongside this stage with are a testament to the words I'm about to share with you. What I'm about to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, is common sense and common knowledge, but it is often not common practice. So I ask that you listen, please, with an open heart and an open mind as I explore how to break down some of these barriers to take you leaps and bounds towards your success. Here we are. 25th of January is here. I know it's 24th for a lot of you, but almost a month done of 2021. And I'm sure a lot of us are glad about that. And a lot more of us are glad to say goodbye to 2020, the year that put up 200, 300, 400 barriers for many of us. And let me tell you, I'm not excluded from that. Oh, no. 2020 was a year full of barriers that were put up and knocked down. In fact, there were more barriers put up for me than I could shake a reasonably sized stick at. It was a roller coaster, a white knuckle ride, there's no doubt about it, but you had to hold on tight because it was well worth the ride. There were lessons to be learned at every twist and every turn, and it was just something you didn't want to blink because you didn't want to miss a second of it. It was an extraordinary year, I found, with extraordinary circumstances and therefore some extraordinary results. And on the subject of circumstances, I wonder, were you someone who let them circumstances and the environment control you, or did you control, in fact, the circumstances and environment? And I know that's an easy thing to say, but a hard thing to do, and we'll explore that a little bit more a little bit later. Barriers. Some barriers are internal, of course, and they're plagued by ourselves and our self-doubt and our self-beliefs, which leads to anxiety and sometimes disintegration, as John pertained to earlier there. But I think an awful lot of these barriers are actually external, and they come from people that we love and trust, our friends, our family, our parents, our teachers, our peers, our loved ones, and some experiences and things that we've been through with them often earlier in our lives. I also think a thing that puts up a lot of those barriers, and I have one right here because we never have one far away these days, is our devices and the media. And I think they have a quite a bit to answer for in 2020, and I think it's good for us to keep a standing step back away from them and just remember that the media, it's not always first. Sorry, it is always first, but what it's not is always honest and true, and it doesn't care who it hurts along the way. One of my favorite actors is Denzel Washington, and he's a man who always creates great films because he doesn't take bad roles, and I think that's a good way of looking at life. If you don't get yourself involved in bad things, then you're not going to end up getting bad results all of the time. Something Denzel says is, if you read the newspaper, then you're misinformed. But if you don't read the newspaper, then you're uninformed. And we can translate that to the TV, our devices, whatever way we're being constantly fed and being almost forced to digest this news from multiple sources, which is often conflicting and confusing. And it's very easy to get just lost and mixed up in the doldrums of it, particularly in a year like 2020, when a lot of us were in downtime and just being fed this stuff all the time. So I advise a great way to start breaking down these barriers is stay away from that news, stay away from that media. Of course, there will be some people who have to consume the media because they need it for their job. Perhaps you work in media yourself, perhaps you work in politics, perhaps you just work in something that connects you with the media. But what I say to that is stick your source, pick your source and stick to your source. Make sure it's as true and honest as it can be, and stick with that one source to relinquish some of that confusion. Because it's not always first, it's not always accurate. And I think a great way to remove one of those barriers is to perhaps have a digital detox. Perhaps don't have the phone in the bedroom, have an alarm clock, have your phone outside of the bedroom, have really no electronics in the bedroom if you can, and don't dive into this first thing in the morning. Don't be fed all this multiple sources of news that's often conflicting and confusing, because I don't think it always serves you in the way that you imagine it does. And in fact, it can put up a lot of barriers when you're constantly fed it and you don't know what to believe, you don't know what's true, you don't know what's right, you don't know what's wrong. And I think it was easy to get swept up in that in 2020, and let's not get swept up in it in 2021. What did you do with 2020? Many of the people I'm surrounded by here today went forth. They dusted off their to-do list. They dusted off the things that they've been wanting to find and explore for a long time. Some of them ended up learning new things, learning new skill sets, teaching new things, becoming part of new projects, creating, cooking, planting, baking, just creating as a whole at scale and going after the new things that they wanted to try. Really maximizing that downtime. And this is another barrier I want to talk about, maximizing your downtime. We've all perhaps had more downtime in the past 12 to 18 months than we've ever had in the entirety of our lives. And what I think that downtime's brought is quiet time to think, quiet time to reflect, quiet time to look around us and think, who can we count on? Who can we count out? Who's helping us on the way and who is in the way? I think it's good to make a list of those things, make a list of those people. Who can you count on? Who can you count out? A list of those things. Who can you count on? Who can you count out? What are the bad habits that you've picked up that you're no longer doing, that you think, now I'm away from those things, I'm actually a lot better person. I'm actually a lot healthier person. I'm actually a lot clearer minded. And I don't need to be doing those things anymore, you know. And the people that, some of the people we used to surround ourselves with, you know, Julie, I love Julie to bits, but she's always watching the news. She's always just telling me what's going on with the news, and I'm almost polluted by the news, and I don't even watch it. Dave's a great guy, but he's always smoking. He's always drinking. I find myself doing that when I'm around him, and I don't really need to do that. It's not something I enjoy doing. So I think it's, as I said earlier, 2020 was an extraordinary year of extraordinary circumstances. And what do extraordinary circumstances give us, folks? Anyone? Anyone know? Extraordinary results. And some results are positive and some results are negative. It just depends on the factors you put into the input of the output of those results. The light, the dark, the yin, the yang, the good, the bad, the sunshine, the rain. One thing I always like to say when people come up to me and say, oh, isn't it raining today? The weather's terrible. I go, well, yeah, but the bad days make you appreciate the good ones. And I think that's a good way to look at things. You know, the yin, the yang, the light, the dark. There cannot be one to exist without the other. It's just the way it goes. I think last year in its entirety can be wrapped up in a few words from the legend of linguistics, a man of many of us all know who we're sharing this stage with today, Les Brown, who says, life is often a series of God ordained or universe ordained or whatever you believe in, insert that word there, problems, cleverly disguised. Excuse me. Life is a series of God ordained opportunities, cleverly disguised as problems and challenges. And I think you could replace that word. Was it problems and challenges, or was it problems and barriers? And how are we going to break them down now? Well, look, it's our time to break them down. It's our time to first understand what they are and stay away from them. Are they from our old experiences, our old circumstances, people that we used to hang around with, too much news and media that we used to consume? You know, I was walking down the road here in Melbourne just yesterday. It's a beautiful place to live. It's a place that there's always constant new pieces of art popping up on the walls. And someone had taken the time to write down some beautiful words outside the house on a lovely green wall. And in this lovely white paintbrush, they'd written, kindly find your new normal. Kindly find your new normal. And I just stood there and took stock and really enjoyed reading it and digesting it. And I think a lot of these people that I'm speaking with here today found their new normal. They went after new things. They seized new projects. They seized new challenges. They learned new skill sets. You know, I myself, and I don't tell you this to impress you, but to impress upon you, I myself decided many years ago that I wanted to take up speaking. And I never had the chance, the time, or the opportunity to go forth and learn from the masters, who I did go forth to learn from, the master, Les Brown, as many people did here that I'm speaking with today. And if it wasn't for 2020 and the quietness of it, and a lot of these people that have these things to teach, having quieter lives, not being able to travel, not having such a heavy schedule, then these programs wouldn't have been possible. They would not have been possible, and they would not have been brought to us. So, you know, there's always positives to be taken out of these things. I think now, really, if you haven't already, it's a great time to take some time for you. For you. Take some real quiet downtime outside of the noise, away from the devices. Take some real downtime to realize what those barriers are, to break them down. Because you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, you have powers and possibilities within you that you haven't even discovered yet. You haven't even touched on. You haven't even begun to uncover. You haven't even begun to understand what the barriers are to peel them back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with this. I believe that you are all and can be and become the masters of your own universe, and that you can all become the achievers of your own dreams. I hope my words have left you with some inspiration and some motivation today to carry forth and reveal and pull back some of those barriers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I have to say about that. Thank you very much, Ian, for the opportunity today.
No, you're welcome. And thanks for getting up on Monday morning to speak to us on Sunday evening. For some people, Sunday morning, it's like, how does this all work out? Without this technology, it just wouldn't. Because prior to this technology, I would spend about 350 days a year on the road, straight off a plane, into a hotel, straight another one. And I am loving my new life. I'm loving it because, like, tonight we'll finish the night's meeting and I will be eating dinner in my own home within 5 minutes, rather than like taxis and trains and aeroplanes. It's incredible, but we appreciate you, Jake, because you did have to get up early. You are the other side of the globe, and you do speak like a Brummie, although I'm a Warwicktarian, but that's okay. Don't worry about it, you know? Okay, so our next speaker, absolutely wonderful woman. I had a chance to sit down with her for several times, and incredible. Let me read a bit about her because I want to get this right. So Beata is a change and transition coach. She empowers people and businesses to navigate through many of life's challenges, such as job loss, divorce, and business struggles, by teaching them about the power of their own thinking and guiding them to adjust their mindset for better outcomes. She focused their thinking on their strengths and their ability to meet challenges successfully. Beata, who recently became a US citizen, is from Poland and currently lives in Colorado. She is an absolute dream. She gives. And I know she's about to actually give us some really good information because she is an incredible speaker. Please welcome Beata.
Hello everyone. Hello Ian, thank you so much for having me here. I'm very excited to spend some time with you. And oh my goodness, what I'm gonna say, you already got so much of wisdom from the previous speakers, but give me some love here. Give me some love, people, because I'm very curious if I'm in the right room. How many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? Say I in the chat box. And how many of you have experienced some life interruptions? Maybe you are working on your dreams and goals and you got stopped by this thing called life. Because life happens to all of us. And sometimes the forces that stop us in our tracks aren't the external events, such as COVID or job loss or relationship ending. Sometimes the things blocking us from achieving our dreams are in our own mind and of our own making. Have you ever felt like there is some kind of hidden force within you that is holding you back, holding you strongly back from achieving more and living more? What if I share with you that you actually have control over this hidden power? I remember the day when I came to the United States for the first time. Oh my goodness, I was so excited. I am the king, I'm the queen, I'm everything. Nothing is gonna stop me. I will succeed. I will succeed day after day, working hard. Well, dreams come true. I was working in this beautiful resort, excited. It was 5-star resort. And unfortunately, I discovered that on the inside, I live maybe 2 stars life. Why is it? Challenges appeared. I was working in this beautiful environment, but I was hearing some not very nice messages sometimes. People, when they were going through their own challenges, they were saying, go back where you come from. Come on, what do you think who you are? with this broken English, you think that you're gonna succeed in this country? You know, I was a people person. I love to serve people, but somehow I became quiet and ashamed of who I am. I'm just an immigrant. They are so right. I am not enough to succeed here. I don't belong. It was shameless. I was ready to quit. But before I make that decision, I already packed my stuff, by the way. But before I did my final decision, I called my mentor. And I really suggest you to have a mentor in your life. I called my mentor and I said, I'm done. I'm going to quit. I don't like to be here. Nobody likes me. I'm going back home. And he very calmly said, okay, if it's what you really want, you can do it. But before you will do this last step, I want to tell you a story. He then shared with me this. There was the old Cherokee talking to his grandson. He said, grandson, a fight is going on inside me. It's a terrible fight between two wolves. One is bad. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, resentment, judgment, and ego. The other one is good. The other one is joy. He is courage. He is happiness. He is excitement and faith. The grandson listened for a second and then said, Grandpa, which wolf will win? And the Cherokee replied with a smile, the one that you feed. Now, my question to you is, what are you feeding your mind with on a daily basis? Obviously, I was not feeding myself with the right messages. You see, it's never about the outside circumstances. It's never about what other people are saying about you. They don't really know you. It's all about our thinking. Your thinking has the biggest power over your life. It can get in the way of set you up for success. Your results are always a reflection of your inner thoughts. James Allen said, you are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. Isn't that true? Our thinking, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest barrier towards our success. So, Tony Robbins said, the only thing that will ever stop you from achieving anything in life, from achieving success, is your own thinking, your story that you're telling yourself, and belief. What story are you telling yourself today? Now, I want to do quickly a declaration. I want you to participate in this declaration with me because I want you to repeat or write in the chat box. And maybe you can see it in the camera. No events or people or things have the power to make my dreams come true. I know anyone else. And now, if you have your friend next to you, or you can look in the camera and tell it to me, yes, you got it. High five. And I have still 2 minutes. Yes, Ian? Okay, so I want to leave you with 3 steps that are necessary in your life to achieve any success and overcome any barrier in business or in life. So the number 1 step is clarity. Write this down. clarity. In order to succeed, you have to know what is success for you. What does it mean when you are there? What you have more of? Joy, happiness, freedom, money, prosperity. What is it? And identify your big why. Why is it so important? Because knowing what you really want is gonna take you through doubt, fear, and resentment. So what we are really looking in here for is the burning desire that will take you to the ending result that you really want. And there are gonna be challenges. Come on, we all have challenges. Zig Ziglar said, adversity is what you need to face in order to become successful. And I really encourage you to start writing down, journaling. Journaling is the fastest way to get clear what stories are you living. Some of them might be not really even yours. Maybe it's your parents, teachers, coaches, or someone from the past that is not really necessary right now. So step number 1 is clarity. Step number 2 is confidence. Confidence, dear, is nothing else than stretching your comfort zone. Your comfort zone has a lot to do with what Jon Talarico was saying, your self-image. Your self-image will dictate your steps. You will dictate how far you're gonna get, because it's nothing else than our opinion about ourselves. So stretch it one day at a time. Start with your thinking. Get to know yourself and gain confidence. It's the only way to get there. What do you think? You become. Step number 3 is courage to act on your dreams. Without action, nothing is happening. Courage is about refusing what is and going for something better. So if you don't like your current situation, you have to change your approach and go for something better. And as Les Brown says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And to end my conversation with you, I want to introduce you to the law of Goya. I'm not sure if you really heard about this. It's G-O-Y-A. Get off your ass and create your success. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to be with you here. Have the courage to follow your dreams. And remember, the best way to predict your future is to create it. You don't have to be, again, you don't have to be good to start, but you have to start to be good. Start where you are, use what you have, and don't stop until you get there. Thank you so very much. It was a great pleasure to be here with you. And please take actions. Your 2021 can be yours, but you have to participate in it.
Wow, thank you so much. That's, yeah, I've not heard that one on the call before. G-O-Y-A, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. Anyway, if you would like to hear more from Beata, pop her name in the chat box, because she's a coach and a mentor and an absolutely phenomenal one. So pop the details there if you want to have some follow-up with her. I must just mention Jake. We forgot to say, put Jake in the box if you'd like to contact with Jake. He's probably gone back to bed now, but I did recognize that we hadn't actually said, hey, Jake, put his name in. We was too busy talking about Brummies and Warwickarians, you know. So anyway, so we're having an absolutely great time, and you can see we are getting speakers from all over the globe. And, you know, for Beata, I am so pleased you stayed in America, because we would have never met. And you are a superb person. Thank you. Okay, next up, Kerri Shepard. Right. Kerri is a motivational speaker and freedom coach whose passion is helping people identify where they are stuck and to work needed to cross over into their destiny so they can live the life that they were created to live. Freedom isn't free, but it's available for the taking. I have known Kerri for many, many years, and I'm sure she is going to deliver some absolutely incredible gems, just like everyone else has. So, Kerri, it's all yours.
Well, thank you, Ian. And hello, I am Kerri Shepard, and I am coming to you from Texas in the United States. So not quite lunchtime here, but thank you for your time today. It's just an honor to be with all of these amazing speakers and just to share what we feel are just pearls of wisdom about how to remove barriers to success. So thank you so much. I just want to share a little bit today. I want to talk to you about being an overcomer. And I want to ask, do you resonate, do you identify with the term overcomer? And I just invite you, you can write yes or no in the chat box, or sometimes I do, Kerri. And but that overcomer word, sometimes we see ourselves that way and sometimes we don't. But I want to tell you today that you are an overcomer. And separate from your behavior, you're an overcomer, whether you identify with it, whether that's been your experience, because you were created to be an overcomer by your creator. And we can remove barriers to success, and we should identify them and remove them. We can do that. But if we do not shift our ability to see ourselves as an overcomer, we won't sustain success and we won't find true fulfillment. And so, there's something on the inside of each one of us because of how we were made that connects to overcoming, even if it's just a desire to. And that's there because God put it there. And, I was thinking in light of that, we aren't really who we've been thinking we are if we're not overcoming, and we haven't yet lived the life we were created to live. And so I'm hoping as I talk today that there is something happening on the inside of you that says, you know what, I was made to overcome, and these barriers can be identified and they can be removed so that I can be the fullness of who I was created to be. And I want to tell you a story of how the Lord introduced me to myself, the overcomer. This is about 20 years ago. I was a young mom, stay-at-home mom, and I had just started a new network marketing business. I was super excited and too scared to talk to anyone. And so I would call people when I knew I would get their voicemail. And I just had a lot of fear, and I didn't know how to remove that barrier. I did not know how to be successful. I was frustrated with having a lot of potential and no results. Can anybody relate to that? And so what I did is I signed up for a leadership development course, and it was all the way, I was in Southern California, this was in Northern California. And the last day of this week-long leadership development course that was amazing, they took us to the redwoods. Now the redwoods are just I think maybe they're the tallest trees on the planet for sure in the United States. They tower, and this is a ropes course. Now, about now, I should mention to you, I had a lifelong fear of heights. It wasn't my only fear. There was the fear of swimming and many fears, but my mother had this fear, and I grew up with a fear of heights. And so as I'm looking at this ropes course, which is essentially like bungee jumping off a redwood tree, I had a pretty significant identity crisis. And in that moment, the instructor, as I was trying to hear him through gripping anxiety, he said, you do not have to participate in the fullness of this exercise. But what you do have to do is you have to suit up. And then as you suit up and we attach the harness and the cord to you, you have to walk over and put your hand on the ladder. Then you can decline. Well, this is a very smart instructor, mentor. And what the course involved was scampering up a 15-foot ladder, and which was placed to connect to a telephone pole at the top of the hill where the ladder was. And then the telephone pole, you transitioned from the ladder to a telephone pole and then would climb rung upon rung to the top of the telephone pole and then have to turn around and jump across the air to grab onto a trapeze if you could connect with it. And this is the idea of the ropes course. So as you can imagine, lots of fear, lots of anxiety. I suited up, I went and put my hand on the ladder. And here's where it got really interesting. There was something in me that wouldn't say, I decline. I didn't know this person, but there was something in me as I suited up and I put my hand on that ladder that said, I am not quitting. And I started climbing that ladder. Now, there's a war going on the inside of me. How many of you can relate to this, right? There's a war happening and the voice is screaming at me. And the voice is saying, this is not who you are. And it would scream, you are afraid of heights. Over and over, I heard my barrier. This is not who you are. And then when that didn't work, because I kept climbing, because there's something on the inside of me that I had never fully connected to before. And as I kept climbing, the voice switched and said, you're going to have to go back down. Every step you take, you're going to have to do in reverse. But again, I just kept going. As I made it onto the telephone pole, my brain thought to myself, how are you going to make it from the pole back to the ladder? But I just kept going. I got to the top of the telephone pole, and in order to stand up, if you've never been to the top of a telephone pole, there's no guardrail, you just literally have to balance your feet on the top two rungs and leap up onto the top. And I did. And I got to the top and realized the trapeze was behind me. And so I had to shimmy. And as I shimmied around, I felt the pull of the harness on my back. And that is the best picture. I'm going to finish the story, but I just have to say that is the best picture of a mentor I've ever experienced. You are not alone on the top of that telephone pole. There is somebody else with you. And that gave me the courage to shimmy little bit by little bit until I was facing a trapeze, push up my sleeves, me, the person afraid of heights my whole life, and leaped across the air, grabbed a trapeze, and screamed for all I was worth. And that day, I met myself in a way I had never met myself before. And I realized that I had a whole new journey and a new pursuit to discover who God created me to be, which was an overcomer. And I, that day, realized I'm shifting from someone who is being mentored. And there is going to be a day where I'm going to mentor. And I tell you, I love being a mentor. I've been mentoring people for over 15 years, and I love it. You have to have a heart to care for people and to care where they are and to help, to listen, to have compassion for the struggles and the fears. And while I'm listening to them and loving them, I'm also listening to the Lord for what do you want to say? What barrier are you highlighting? What barrier do you want to demolish? What do you want to exchange for this fear or this lie about who they are? So what I want to say to you today is there is a way to relate to the Lord as your mentor with another mentor to identify who you've thought you were and shift into who you were really created to be. And if that intrigues you, if that is something kicking on the inside of you, I just invite you, put my name, Kerri Shepard, in the chat box. You can visit my website, kerrishepard.com. And if you're like, hey, Kerri, I don't know about hearing from God. That sounds, I don't know if I can do that. I have a free ebook that you can download on my website called Unclogging Your Ears So You Can Hear God Speak. You were created to hear him. And you were created to discover that you're an overcomer. And with the Lord, you can remove every barrier to your success. And I'd love to help you. Thank you so much for your time. Blessings to you.
Wow, thank you, Kerri. It's like, isn't it incredible? We've got speakers who are bursting through barriers from all over the globe. And I have known Kerri for maybe 10, 11 years. You know, she has transformed so many people's lives over that time. And just so pleased that she can join us this evening as well to share. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, up next. Now, next we are going to speak to Melissa Burnside. Let me tell a small bit about her first. So Melissa is a highly sought after global speaker and coach. She has inspired audience since the age of 16. In 2019, she was named Coach of the Year by Success Hotline. She has been personally mentored by Les Brown. Melissa is the founder of CoachBurnside.com, a company that gives its clients the tools to build a life they love to live. After coaching athletes at state competitions, as well as breaking many records, Melissa believes that all things are possible against all odds. Melissa's mission, I believe that helping others create a life of someone is valued and needed in the world today. I am absolutely delighted. This is the first time that I've been able to share with Melissa. Melissa, it's all yours.
Thank you, Ian. I am just so happy to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. I feel very blessed to be among the people in this audience, and I just am here to share a story with you guys to help you break through some barriers you have. So I want you to think about any goals or dreams you've had, and I want to tell you a story of my goals and a dream that I had when I was a freshman in high school back in 1991, which was a long time ago, but not really. So I wanted to be an athlete. I went out for the sport of basketball, and I got cut from the team, and I felt much rejection. And I was very disappointed in myself and my efforts. Even though I'd given it all I had, I didn't make the cut. Then I went out for cheerleading, and I was once again cut. And I started to beat myself up inside, and I felt like I couldn't win. And then I started realizing, what if I changed gears and I didn't go out for a sport that was cut? So I went out for football. They don't cut football. And back in the day, in 1991, no girl had ever played football, at my school at least. So I showed up for the first day of practice, and the coach said, "Get out of here, you're not allowed to play." But I'm very stubborn. And I said, "Yes, I am allowed to play. And I do have the right to be here." And he said, "No, you don't." So I headed to the office. And as I turned around walking to the office, that deep rejection came back to me. And I felt like I just was like, no, I'm not going to be stopped. And as tears welled up in my eyes, I made them bigger, hoping they wouldn't fall out. But they fell out. And he shouted to me, "Go home and play with your dolls." He gave me the best pep talk I've ever received in my life. As I went to the office, the next day I showed up again, and I did not give that coach one reason to kick me off the team. Because if I gave him one reason, he would have done it. But I refused to give him any ammunition. And I took all the ammunition he gave me. What's ammunition? It's fuel. And anything, whether it's negative or positive, we can take that ammunition and we can turn it into fuel and have it power us forward. During that season, there were times where people were mean to me. There was times where they put a price tag on my head. And in the boys' locker room before I got there, they said, the coach said, whoever can get this girl to quit, we'll give you $25. And back then that was a lot of money. I took that as more ammunition. And the harder they hit me, the harder I hit them. But you know what? The good fuel that happened on that Friday night, when I ran onto the football field to play in a game, I felt so alive. And that kept me going and going and going. I had a lot going against me. At that point in my life, I was actually a foster child. I was very alone in my life. I took all that anger and energy, and I legally could get it out of my body. I legally blew them up on the sidelines wherever I was. When they would come at me, I would just pound them hard. I learned how to put my fuel and burn it in the right way. And I earned my first high school letter in tackle football on the JV team. And that same coach had to sign my letter at the end of the day. The funny thing is too, he not only had me for football, he ended up having me at church too. I walked into Sunday school and I thought, no way. He just couldn't get rid of me. I think he probably thought, I'm stuck with her. I might as well just let her be here. But then something that I never thought would happen happened. After football season, 2 girls went out and wrestled. And I realized that my actions make a difference in this world. I realized me living my dream helped other people live their dream. And now you fast forward 29 years later, I work at a high school where we have 20 female wrestlers. One of them is a state champion. As I connected with the state champion, I realized that I was part of her life and she was part of mine. The ripple effect that I had affected her too. And then I gained another opportunity. I decided that I was going to go out for being a football coach. That was another dream I had. And I didn't know how it would happen, but I went and I started seeing things happen in my life. I was introduced to different people and I was asked to be a track coach. And then I had that feeling of being wanted, and it was completely different than that feeling of rejection. And I noticed the difference and I let it feed me. And during the track season, I excelled in helping jumpers. When I went to districts, there's 16 spots. My long jumper boys held 8 of those spots. The football coach was like, wow, you're pretty amazing. You've done the best that anybody at the school has done. He started seeing in me that I had something in me. I became uncomfortable at times, but I started to learn that the more uncomfortable I felt, that was helping me grow. That was helping me get to where I needed to go. So I'm asking you, in your life, when you feel uncomfortable, know that you're growing. Know that you're getting there. Do it the other way that no one else is doing. At the end of the track season, I went to state. A rookie coach went to state. I had a triple jumper get 10th place in state. I did a few things with him. I believed in him to the very last second. When he made it to state, his parents had already left the stadium. There is so many times. How many times do we leave the stadium before it's over? You don't leave until it's over. And in my book, it's never over until I win. As Les Brown says, it's not over until I win, right? Some of the people's Tony Robbins says, some people's biggest problem is that you don't think you should have a problem. We all are going to have problems. That's how we grow in life. If you believe you have the ability to solve your problems, then you can continue to use that fuel, whether it's negative or positive fuel, it doesn't matter. It still burns the same. So as you continue to move through and believe it's possible, you can do anything you put your mind to. So when I coached football, we had a team that had been around since 1972. They had only beat their rival once in 2012. My ultimate goal was to beat that rival. We did. And I can't tell you the amazing feeling that was inside me that burned. And you know what? You can do anything you put your mind to. All you have to do is plan it and see it through. And when it's not working out, change your action, do something different. I want to share with you that on New Year's Eve, on Christmas Day in 2020, I was in Hawaii. Now, I planned on going to Hawaii a few months before, and it just so happened to work out because I kept persevering. And I don't tell you that to impress you, but to help you understand that even in today's world, you can go anywhere you want. Anywhere you want, figure out the loopholes, figure out how to do it, and enjoy life and live life like you mean it. I don't know how many years I have left on this earth. I don't know how many you have. But you know what? I wake up every day and decide I'm going to be the best person I can be today. I've been married for 20 years. And yesterday I asked my husband, how can I become a better wife? I continue to ask those questions in every aspect of my life. You know what he told me? He said, give me more back rubs. And hey, I can give more back rubs if that's all that's needed. But in any aspect of your life, always work on doing what you can, being your all, knowing that you got it. And failure is sometimes just feedback and can push us into our success. I am blessed to know Ian, to be in his life, and to him be in my life. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share with you my knowledge of how I broke through barriers and did things that aren't average, but I know that fulfilling my life on this planet is very important. And that is where I'm mostly fed. Money doesn't feed me like fulfillment does. And you really have to ask yourself that question. What feeds me? What gives me fulfillment? And when you find those answers, you will succeed. You can get a hold of me at coachburnside.com. You can book me on Facebook at Coach Burnside and have a consultation with me. And thank you so much, Ian.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's a great story and inspiration to us all. You know, there are so many quality people here tonight, and I feel really, I'm listening to all these stories and thinking it's pumping me up. I'm feeling like, hey, you know, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. You know, I'm like, I've made like 4 pages of notes and I'm like highlighting. It's like terrific, absolutely terrific. So thank you to everyone who has so far spoken. And we have a few more speakers for you now. The next one is Jon Ughulu. Let me just read a bit about him. So Jon's dad transitioned to eternity when Jon was in high school, and from that time of his dad's demise onwards. Jon and his 4 siblings were raised by their mom without any assistance from paternal family members. Jon's mom immediately stepped up and played the role of both dad and mom. Jon owes everything he has become to his mom. Just like most kids who were raised in a single parent household, Jon's useful experience quickly put his foundational values to test by exposing him to the wrong crowd. Young and naive, whose initial vision was to become an influential engineer and leader like his dad, quickly derailed from his fundamental values and vision and was caught up in the midst of the dream busters. Today, those same foundational values instilled in him by his parents helped him realign with his original calling. Jon's mission for the rest of his life is to help develop leaders by providing empowerment through coaching, mentoring, and education. Jon is the founder of the Jon Ughulu Foundation, a non-profit organization providing empowerment for children and young adults from the ages of 8 to 22 through coaching and mentoring. So this is going to be a great story to listen to. Jon, are you there?
I am here. How are you, Ian? Can you hear me?
Better than fantastic, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much, Ian. And I'm so excited to be on this platform. So if those people who are listening to me can hear me, can you please type "I can hear you" in the comment section? I just want to be sure I'm not talking to myself. Awesome. Awesome. Great. All right. So it's been a wonderful pleasure listening to all the great speakers out there. You know, Ian, you did a marvelous job by putting together these great speakers. And everything they have said resonated with me. Melissa talked about you know, the possibility of you being able to do anything you put your mind. That's absolutely phenomenal. And Jon Talarico talked about paradigm shift. That's awesome. Your mindset is what determines how far you will go. And I don't really know everybody who's on the platform or who's listening to this program right now, but one thing that I know for sure is that we've all got greatness. You who's listening to me, you've got greatness in you. And today I will be talking about removing your barriers to success. Just like I always do, I like to break things down to the simplest form, because what you don't understand might be difficult for you to process. So for everybody listening to this program right now, I want you to please grab a pen and a notepad, because I will be sharing tips and great reminders that would help you remove the barriers to your success. First of all, I want to give you the dictionary definition of the word barrier. Barrier, according to the dictionary, is something immaterial or material that obstructs or impedes. I want you to write that down. Barrier is something immaterial or material that obstructs or impedes. So now that we know the meaning of barrier, it should be an easy task for you to process it and relate to what the topic for today means: removing your barriers to success. Some other words for barrier could be a fence. It could be a barricade. It could be a limiting belief. But today, I want to focus more on limiting belief. And once again, I would have to give you the definition of that word, limiting belief. So write this down. A limiting belief is that conviction or belief that prevents you from achieving your dreams, your visions, or your goals. That's what a limiting belief is. And I have come to realize that every human being at a point always encounters limiting beliefs in their lives. It is part of the human system. And some examples of limiting beliefs could be things like, I am not well connected to get into the type of business I want to do. Or I don't have the kind of capital to start a business. Or it could be things like I am too shy, just like myself. Because while growing up, I used to be a very shy person. But I knew I had something in me. I knew I had words, inspiration in me that needed to be heard by the world. And I knew that shyness was going to stop me from achieving that vision and that dream. So limiting beliefs could come in different forms. But what matters most is for you to understand that it is you alone who can help yourself identify those limiting beliefs. It is you alone who can help yourself get up and make the move. Now, I want to tell us about the word move, M-O-V-E. To me, it's an acronym. So write it down, move, M-O-V-E. M stands for mindset. If you see move as an acronym and you use this template in your life, I assure you that you will be able to remove any form of limiting belief or barriers that would prevent you from succeeding. The M stands for mindset. And I want you to also write this down. When it comes to the mind, we have two types of minds. We have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is that part of the mind that processes information, every information that comes. Things that are in the conscious mind can easily be discarded. So it just comes through and it goes, it filters and it goes. It can easily be discarded. Then we have the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the most powerful one because anything that is done by repetition is what is deposited in the subconscious mind. So when the conscious mind filters and realizes that you are always feeding your mind with limiting beliefs, and that happens over and over and over, what will the conscious mind do? It will select that and deposit it in the subconscious mind because of repetition. That's why they say repetition is a very powerful tool. And whatever goes to the subconscious mind sticks. So when you fill up the subconscious mind with limiting beliefs, trust me, the subconscious mind will be more than willing and happy to help you activate that limiting belief in your life. And you don't want to do that. So you must have the right mindset. M, the mindset of an achiever. You must be intentional about what gets into your subconscious mind. And when you have that mindset that it is possible, that you've got greatness in you, then you would notice the difference. Just like what my coach Talarico said, Jon Talarico. It is your mind that gives you the paradigm shift. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. It is a mindset thing. So make sure your subconscious mind is filled with positivity. So when you have that positive mindset, it will take you to the O, which is opportunity. They say the most powerful thing is a made-up mind. When your mind is made up to succeed, you will do anything possible to ensure that you step into that success. So when the mind is made up, it moves to the opportunity. That's when the opportunities come in. When you realize that you don't need to know 100% how to move, how to take, you don't need 100% on how to execute your plans, then the opportunities will come. The partnerships will come. The people who would help you would come. Luck, they say, is when opportunity meets preparation. The opportunity will always come when you have the positive mindset. And that would move you to the V. When the opportunity comes, the V stands for value. value. V, value. Values are simply the basic elements of how we go about our work. Your values are what would determine if people will want to still stick with you in your journey. So when you have the opportunity, hold on to your values. Everybody at this point, if you cannot recite what your core values are, just the same way you can tell everybody your name, even when you're waking up from your sleep, then you have a lot of work to do. Write it, core values. First of all, what are your core values? My core values are service, integrity, and accountability. What are yours? I want you to ponder on this for a moment. And if you cannot identify your core values, you need to go back and work on that. I want you to write that down. I will identify my core values today. You should be fluent when it comes to your core values so that when the opportunities come, you will not derail. When I was growing up, my youthful exuberance led me towards hanging out with the wrong crowd. But fortunately for me, I had some core values, some foundational values instilled in me by my parents. And those same values were what helped me realign with my true purpose in life. So when the opportunity comes, have your core values to help you stay aligned to your vision. And when all this happens, it will take you to the E, which is excellence. Excellence. When you do something over and over and over, you become excellent at that craft. Vince Lombardi said, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can surely catch excellence. So ladies and gentlemen, I really don't know how much you know about yourself. Neither do I know what the people around you know about you. But one thing that I'm sure about you is that you are destined for greatness. And if you believe with conviction in your heart that you are destined for greatness, I want you to type, I am blessed in the comment section. Because you are blessed. You've got greatness in you. Every human being was created on purpose, for a purpose. Just the same way the birds of the air were created to fly without the need to go to flight school or flight lessons. And the fish of the rivers were built and created to swim without any lessons. I want to reiterate today and remind you that you too were created with a gift inside of you. You've got a gift inside of you. You just need to identify what that gift is. And if you cannot identify what that gift is, I want you to realign with your childhood. Think about those things you had a passion for before the world and education started telling you who you should be and who you should not be. That would help you. They say a problem half solved is a problem identified. A problem identified is a problem half solved. So for you to be able to remove the barriers to success in your life, first of all, determine the root cause of your problem. Ask yourself the powerful question, why am I unable to do what needs to be done? When you ask yourself that question, then you will be able to determine the root cause. You will be able to identify those limiting beliefs in your life. And when you identify the limiting beliefs, what's the next thing you need to do? To apply a corrective and a preventive action. We call it CAPA in project management. C-A-P-A, CAPA. When you discover the root cause of your problems, of your challenges, the reason why you cannot go past where you are, you need to do a CAPA, a corrective and a preventive action. Mentorship is paramount. Having a coach is paramount. Hanging around OQP, just like my mentor, Les Brown would say, only quality people. Hanging around only quality people is paramount. I want you to remember that in life, it is you alone who can make things happen. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you would like to hear more from Jon, pop it in the chat box, because we have some phenomenal speakers tonight. You know, every single one of them is going to be helped to transform someone's life. That is for sure. So I'm excited. It's just getting on and on and on. We've just got 3 speakers left to go. And these 3 speakers are equally as good as the previous one. So it's going to be a phenomenal evening. When you think about it afterwards, you're going to go, wow, that was a good investment. That's for sure. You've got to invest in yourself. Right, next up, Lisa Regan. Lisa is a successful entrepreneur committed to empowering women to realize their greatness. With more than 30 years of being a CEO of her own business, she has coached thousands of people to achieve personal and financial greatness. She is passionate and committed to help people level up their lives. Please welcome, are you there, Lisa?
Hey, Ian. Yes, how are you?
I am better than fantastic, thank you.
Fantastic. Well, it's a blessing and an honor to be here with all of you. And I just want to pause for a moment and honor all the speakers that have come before and the 2 after. It is absolutely an incredible platform, and I'm thankful and grateful. So are you ready to have some fun? Type fun in the chat box. So my husband said to me this morning, he reminded me of Michael Keaton's role in Beetlejuice. And he's like, hey, it's showtime. I'm a terrible impersonator, yet I need to have fun with this since I'm actually one of the most greatest fears I have is speaking in front of people. One-on-one, it's absolutely fantastic and easy. So with that, I want to take you all on a journey. And that journey is into your own inner self. So we can absolutely help identify what are your barriers to success. And I was given this internal poem on, in the journey we seek and find. You ask and you receive. You knock and it's open unto you. Believe and life becomes your masterpiece. And one of the most important things that I've had to overcome in my journey is fear of success. It has absolutely been my barrier. Once I achieved a certain rung, it's like, wow, universe brought me a ton of adversity. Things would happen and they would derail. And it's like, whoa, what's going on here? I don't know what is causing that barrier for me to overcome and achieve my greater dreams, my big, wild, hairy, audacious goals. And then I would have to pause and reach deeper inside and begin a journey into myself and to find out, what do I really believe and what are my behaviors? And are they aligning or are they incongruent? So one of the greatest teachers in my life has always been adversity. I know that may sound really weird, but for me, it's what has propelled me to go deeper into my own universe and say, wow, what is it that I really want? And what is going on in my belief system that has got me shackled? What has me in bondage to absolutely not realize that my life is my own masterpiece. And my daughter has actually been the one who's taught me more about how to figure out why I want to be free. And by connecting with my why, it was always a really awesome way to go, there's more to it than it only being about my wants. And she's the one who has shown me that by releasing the shackles that have held me back, that we can actually create a life of our dreams. It is so unusual and such a paradox to when you visually see that there are shackles that keep you stuck in a certain behavior, and it takes a lot of dedication and determination to go, wow, I can create a life of freedom. And do I want to live in fear, or do I want to live a life of success? So as we climb this ladder from fear to freedom, we actually are able to realize we are more than what we're giving ourselves credit for. We are more because we were created to be more. We were created to actually align with the gifts that were given to us. And by tapping in to what it is I really want to create, what I really want to become, then we can climb this ladder. I have this really wonderful visual of a beautiful, beautiful rope ladder. And it starts at the bottom rung, of course, in all that limitation and fear. And then it's like, oh, you can hold on to the one rung, and then you can sway with life because it's always throwing adversity at us. And dig a little deeper, take new action every day, as Jon was sharing with us earlier, just measurable action with new behaviors that align with the beliefs that you really have. And then you're able to actually transcend each and every rung and become a new person. You aren't the same person as you were yesterday, and you're not the person you're going to be tomorrow. So as you continue to make this beautiful, beautiful journey to the essence of yourself and figure out what it is you really want to create, and then you hang on to that beautiful, beautiful rung of where you're at and learn to move and sway with what life is throwing at you, but you're always centered and stable. There are 12 virtues that I've really connected to, and for me, it goes back to this rope ladder with the 12 rungs on it. And it starts with faith, and it goes to endurance, courage, and confidence, energy and determination, love, power from within, discernment and decision, imagination, understanding with wisdom, will, harmony, order, and balance, zeal and enthusiasm, and perception. And when you combine these 12 virtues and you work that internally from the inside out, you're able to overcome any barrier that has you stuck. It just is such a release from living a life of limitation to living a life of freedom, a life that is limitless. There's just a really wonderful song. I don't know how to play it. I'm not that technology savvy, but Bon Jovi came out with it maybe a year ago, and it's limitless. And it just gives me all kinds of enthusiasm. So when I wake up first thing in the morning after doing my meditation and gratefulness, it's like, man, then you just got to get up and dance and embrace the day with determined creative energy, so that no matter what sways in the wind and has you moving off path, you can ground and become stable again, to realize that the only barrier to success is you. So
Wow.
folks, it has been an absolute honor and a blessing. Have an amazing, amazing Sunday evening and enjoy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. And as she said, she doesn't like speaking in public, so she was going through her barrier tonight. You know, it's like, you have to do it. You're a coach. You've got to get through there. So I am delighted that we had that conversation. And I'm delighted, Lisa, because you're absolutely fine. And it's what all tonight is about, breaking down those barriers. So well done, well done, well done. If you want to hear more from Lisa, pop in the chat box, because she's mentoring people. She's got an absolutely great ethic, and she could just transform your life. Right, next up we have Gissel Donovan. Now, let me tell you a little about her. She is an enterprising bilingual business owner. She has an associate degree in chemical engineering and is about to finish her bachelor's degree. She is passionate about motivation and leadership, and has also helped many people to find their purpose and guide them to a better way of living. Through motivation and personal development, she has been able to achieve many things and has been able to impact the lives of many people with her dedication, charisma, and enthusiasm. I'll just say one more thing. This is committed, because when I've been mentoring with Gissel, we have met as early as 5 a.m. in the morning, because that's the only time she could fit in, because she's got a busy life. And so I'm absolutely delighted for you to be able to hear from her. You better strap yourself down, because she comes with a powerhouse of energy. Gissel, it's over to you.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful and happy to be here with all of you. You hear me well? Amazing. Okay. Well, I'm so happy to be, I'm kind of like, oh my God, this is happening. This is the day. I was ready since I think 8 in the morning here. It's a grateful day. So I want to tell you, and I am coming here to speak to you about removing barriers, but also telling you how I have been able to do it. So when 3 years ago, actually, I started feeling that when I came to this world, like, why is my purpose? I didn't find anything that could fulfill my heart. As you know, I studied chemistry, and I thought that was my big dream to accomplish. And then I graduated from my associates, but I started working in a lab, and I was like, I like this, but there is something else that I need to be doing, because this is not fulfilling my heart. And I know some of you maybe feel this way because you haven't found exactly what you like to do. As this morning I was saying, find something that you like, and even if they don't pay you, you will do it with so much passion, because this is what you are being made for. And so 3 years ago, I found myself in a place that I felt super empty. And one day I hear my best motivator, Les Brown, said, live full and die empty. And that day I was like, I am dying. I am dying because I haven't found my purpose. And even if I have a family, I have a house, and I am studying it, this is what you're supposed to do. I'm not full. I'm dying. I'm dying in life. And that day I realized that I had to do something in my life. I have to basically find something that can fulfill my heart. So that day came because I was knocking doors with my husband because I decided to be an entrepreneur. And I said, no, I don't want to be an employee. So I wanted to be my own boss. So I started knocking on doors, protecting families, setting alarm systems. And I said, you know what? This is amazing how you can basically help a family being protected. And I did it. And this was a calling for me, because if you know, like, this doesn't have to be nothing with chemistry, but this was something else, helping people. And so, but still, I was like, I like this, but there is something else in me. So then I saw a friend that she was doing a business on social media, but I had my barriers, right? Because first, I have never done something like that, but also like being on a camera, I was like, maybe I don't know, this social media thing, I don't know how to do it. So then I said, okay, let me knock at her door. This time was her door. So I asked her, even with that barrier, right? Because I'm gonna tell you that you can remove all the barriers that you have in life, but even if you are scared, just do it scared. So I went that day and I told her, hey girl, what are you doing? I like what you're doing, you know, like you're on social media and in your house, and I have 2 kids. So I didn't want to leave my kids with anybody, but you know, like life happens and I had to just leave them with my mother-in-law, my mom, everybody. And I said, this is not the life that I want. I want to be being able to be a present mom. So I decided to knock on the door, and then she told me everything, basically what I had to, like what I needed to build this empire, like I call. And that day she approached me and she told me, oh, okay, girl, so I told you everything. I know you're gonna be great. And then I said, okay. And she approached me with a raffle. So I was like, oh my God. That day I had $1 in my pack, in my purse. And I said, oh my God, Dios mío. I'm a Colombian, so I speak my Spanish now and then. So I said, oh my God, I don't have more money, just $1. And thank God I had gas in my car. So she said, look, can you participate in this raffle? And I said, sure. I just don't have like cash. I just said like that, but I didn't even have cash. So just $1. So she said, oh, it's $1, the place. So I was like, okay, so it's $1. This is fine. Yeah, sure, girl. I'm going to write my name. So I wrote my name. But then she was like, I didn't expect that. She said, only $1? Only one place? Why only one place? And I was like, I didn't even wanted to tell her. Of course, I don't have anything else, but I was like, oh no, girl, the thing is that I don't have cash. And then, but well, I signed up in that raffle that day in more numbers than I paid her, right? But that day, that $1 that I had changed my life. That situation, because I knew that I had to wake up and I have to remove that barrier that I have in me. And I had to wake up and fight for my dreams and goals because I was dying. And if I didn't just remove the barrier, I was gonna keep dying and dying. And as I learned, like generations goes by, I don't want my kids to feel like my mom just doesn't have any life in her. So then I started saying, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do this. Scared, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. So I started investing on myself. I started reading books, like listening to podcasts and everything, because at that time I didn't have, money to invest in a coach. So I was coaching myself. And I started doing this business, and I built this business based on rejections, because so many people, they told me, no, you know why? And they criticized me. Why you're doing that? You're a chemist. Why you're doing that? Why you're saying raffles? Because then I sold my raffles, right? And so I was like, wow, it's unbelievable. Some people, they will think that you're doing great, right? You think that, wow, you are an entrepreneur, but no, they will criticize you. So you know what? I didn't care, because I had my vision and I know what I wanted to accomplish. So I said, you know what, Lord, I'm right here and I'm not going to move from my dream, because finally I found my dream. And even if a lot of people, they criticize me, I'm going to keep going, because this is the only way that you will succeed in life, let me tell you. And I want you to put in the chat box, succeed, success. And I remember posting on social media, only happiness and success. And you know what? I just realized that like when I was putting that, I was just saying to the world, to the universe and to God, I want happiness and success. And you know what? To finish this, I want to tell you that as Les Brown calls me, I am Gissel, and this is the Gigi factor. And removing barriers means do it. If you have fear, just do it, because you are unique. And if you feel something in your heart really like strong, this is a calling, and you are a calling to make a big impact in life. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you. And you can see her enthusiasm. She's actually at a conference at the moment and just popped out to speak to us. So we really appreciate you. It wasn't a case of no, it was a case of yes, I will make it work. And that is what you do when you're breaking down barriers to your success. So we really do appreciate you, Gissel. I'm sure we're going to speak lots more times at 5 o'clock in the morning, so, but go and enjoy your conference. We really, really appreciate you. Next up, one last person. And this person is Beverly Smith. Let me tell you about her. She is an author, inspirational and motivational speaker, and transformational personal development coach. As an accomplished pharmacist profession for over 28 years, she uses her many transferable skills to transform mindset and health. Beverly is most passionate. There is a time for every individual to take courage despite the odds and dare to dream. Then turn their dream into reality by taking persistent, continuous action and learn to flourish in every area of their lives. I first met Beverly probably about 4 or 5 months ago, probably 4 months ago now. She has ripped barriers down. She hasn't removed them. She has ripped them down. And she is just an incredible person. And I'm not going to say any more because otherwise I'll steal her thunder. But Beverly, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hello to everyone. And thank you so much, Ian. Thank you, first of all, for this opportunity to be on this platform. And thank you to everyone who's here, who's showed up for themselves, showed up to gear up for something to give to someone else. And I just really want to say thank you for that. Let's just take a pause and say to yourself, and I want you to type it in the chat, it's possible. It's possible. Then I want you to get into a rhythm and say it to yourself. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. And as I'm speaking, I want you to have that rhythm going through your mind as you hear me speak. And I'm wanting that each word becomes a seed in your subconscious mind that will spring up, grow up, and flourish in your life. It's possible. It's possible. Les Brown, he says it's possible, it's necessary, and it's you. Removing the barriers to your success. I would like you to consider, each and every person, one barrier. Just one barrier. Right now, close your eyes, and I'd like you to picture that barrier. And I want you to say to yourself, I will remove this barrier and be a carrier of my greatness to the world. Because Les Brown again, he says there's greatness in each of us. There is greatness in you. There is greatness in me. And I like to think in terms of that each person with their fingertips, your fingerprint, it's unique. Every single person's fingerprint is unique. And I like to think of it like a hallmark on something precious, and it's showing you that you've come here with something special. There's greatness within you. Now you can open your eyes. And as I speak, think of that barrier and put barrier, removing the barrier. I want you to type that in the chat. I will remove the barrier. You might say to yourself, well, what are the barriers? Are there barriers in my way? There are external barriers, but right now, for today, I'd like to think about the barriers that are in our way, in our own mind, maybe our self-talk, something that we can do, because when you give responsibility for your life to someone else, it makes it almost impossible for you to move forward. But when you take ownership of something that you can do, and then you go ahead and do it, you're a winner. You're born a winner. You are born a winner. 4 billion sperm race towards the egg to connect, to become you. So you came to this earth being a winner. Born a winner, a victor. Sometimes you might consider, well, I've been through this in life, and I've been through that in life, and I've been through this, and I've been through that. And you may like to think of yourself as a victim. But I say, no, you are a victor. You come here as a winner. And you've come here with greatness within you. And it's just bursting to get out. You can say to yourself, why? Why should I remove the barrier? In this current unprecedented times with COVID and all different things going on, there's a continuum of people that you can consider. And you may like to consider, where on this continuum am I? For some people, they're just existing and going through the motions of life. Some feel zombified, not even alive. You could call them the walking dead, and they need to shake awake. But what is it that's going to shake them awake? Maybe something that you carry, something that you say when you encounter them could help them in their life. Going along from that continuum, you've got some who are just striving every step. Everything they touch or do feels like a struggle and a striving. Then you've got those who feel, well, at least I'm surviving. At least I've got my head above the water and I'm still here. I'm surviving. Then you've got those who are thriving. They feel life is good. And in some areas of their lives, they feel, yes, I have success. But then there are those which I like to aim for. I would encourage everyone to aim for, where you're thriving in every area of your life, flourishing, flourishing. in every area of your life, living your best life now, living the life of your dreams. Who here would like to flourish in every area of their life? Type flourish in the chat. And if you're ready to flourish, type ready, flourish, ready. Remember, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Les Brown says it's possible. It's necessary. It's you. So right now, I'd like you to think of your name, however long it is. And when you go away from here today, do what I'm going to show you I've done with my name. Because we want our mindset to be geared up to success. Often when we think, yes, we're going to do this, when we finally get motivated to actually go and do something, who shows up? Fear. What is fear? Fear is actually false evidence appearing real. Some people say it means forget about everything and run. But I say, face everything and rise. Dare to dream, dare to take action, dare to do it anyway, in spite of the odds, in spite of the barriers. But today, as you heard all the speakers give the different reasons and different ways of how you can choose even 5 of those with that barrier that you thought in your mind and go for it. When fear shows up, sometimes the larger the fear, the more you need to gear up. If you can think of a bike, if you go on a bike and you've got to go on a mountain, you've sometimes got to go up a gear. So if you see that fear and it's larger, go to a larger gear. So my name, Beverly. B, bold and brave. E, elevate. If you fall down sometimes, as Les Brown says, if you fall on your back, look up. If you can look up, you can get up. And I say you can get up, gear up, and get going for it. The victor. You've come here as a victory. Let's aim, set the thermostat, victory. Type victory in the chat, victory. E, eliminate. E for eliminate, remove, get rid of the barriers. L, eliminate. E, eliminate. R, resistance. By repetition and resilience, you can resist anything that's coming against you. L, level up your mind. Decide, make up your mind, no matter what. Lisa Nichols says, no matter what. Have a no matter what attitude. I'm going that way. Set your target, set your focus. Type focus in the chat. Focus in that chat. Set your mind. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. And why? Yes. Type yes in the chat. Yes to opportunities. Opportunities do not just happen. Chris Grosser says we have to create them. And the creating of those opportunities starts in your mind. We can choose higher faculties. We heard Jon Talarico talking about that today. We can imagine. If we can't imagine, we can use our perception. Think about things in a different way. We can use our will, those higher tools, and we can focus. Imagine. We can use our memory, those times for those things what we've been through and we succeeded. We can draw down, because thoughts are like pictures. And we can draw down in our mind and think of what it is that we wanted. Think it into the results. And intuition. Sometimes you have a gut feeling, a barrier comes and you can have a gut feeling. And that gut feeling can give you the answer. We talk about prayer and praying to God, communicating with God, but intuition is almost like God, the amazing sovereign over the universe, speaking to you and giving you that go feeling to say, go for it. So yes to opportunities. Yes, begin with hope, having opportunities, and then press enter. Say, it's possible. It's possible. Removing barriers in 2021. Come on, let's get it done. Let's get those barriers gone. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Beverly. We really appreciate you. And over the last 3 months, you have changed so much. You've encouraged so many people to step out, and we've got big news this week, which we'll be sharing. So watch for the news channel this week, because we've got some big news coming out for Beverly a bit further in the week. If you need to hear more from her, if you want to contact with her, pop her in the box right now. Before I actually forget, I just want to say thank you to Tasha and to Josh, because they keep the machine running at these events so we can just get on and do what we do. So I want to just thank them both for giving up their Sunday evenings to come and support us all. But also, I want to thank everyone for attending. I certainly want to say a massive thank you to the 11 speakers, because no one had a brief. The only brief was removing barriers to your success. Everyone was freelance to do and say what they wanted to, because they have all been through personal barriers. And it was great to hear so many stories. It was great to hear a couple of people who did not want to speak in public have now spoken in public. It's part of the removing of the barriers. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone. You will be able to get a copy of this in a few days, because we'll be able to make it for you. And if you only take one thing from one person tonight, it's all been worth it. It really has. These 11 people are super talented. I think they're all incredible and amazing. Please don't just write notes and put them to the corner. Write the notes you have already, read them, and get back to the person who invited you on here tonight. I just want to say a massive thank you, and thank you. And we will see you all at the next events. Have a great evening, everyone.